The Valley Season 2, Episode 7 aired last night. The Ring of Rumors or something. Ring Around the Rumors, I think it was called. We got to react to it, roast it, recap it. So grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Please smash that like and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian, pop culture vulture, and sometimes Bravo television fan, Joleen Lunzer here for another roast and recap of The Valley Season 2 on Bravo. Today, we're going to be talking about Episode 7. Ring Around the Rumors. I keep wanting to say Ring Around the Rosie, obviously. Ring Around the Rumors. But before we get started and have some laughs, just know that I am a very opinionated lady when it comes to these television shows. I'm providing my commentary, my opinion, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a different opinion. You are welcome to sound off in the live chat. Hello, live chatters, or the comment section, and we could just respectfully agree to disagree, just very kindly, like Tamra Judge, who is the nicest housewife on Bravo.
That's my opinion!
She's so calm. She's like meditation for me, you guys. Also know that everything I say today is absolutely true, except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only, so don't sue me.
Allegedly.
So allegedly, you've been warned. All right. Hello to everyone in the live chat. I see you. So happy that you're here. Happy Wednesday. You guys, if you could smash that like, that'd be great. Let's set a like goal. Let's set an overall like goal for 600. Can we hit 600 likes on a Valley recap? You guys have been killing it. We hit over 500 likes, but can we hit 600 likes? If you want to support the channel further than liking or subscribing, you can always send a super chat while we're live here on YouTube. You can send a super thanks after the video posts. You can consider joining a membership on YouTube or Patreon where you get exclusive bonus content. Or you can hit me up on the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Thank you to Gigi for hitting me up on those recently. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys. So good to see you. You're not disagreeing. Okay, you're not disagreeing with me, but you can. I'm opening it up for you to disagree with me. All right. All right, so we got to get into this episode of The Valley. Now, everyone joining in the live chat, you know the drill. You know I want to hear all your thoughts, hopes, dreams, and opinions when it comes to what happened on this episode. So please sound off. As you can see, we have our little chat box here. And then I'll also be highlighting some comments. So I want to hear from you guys. All right, so The Valley last night. Oh, boy, The Valley. We had episode 7. Let me read the description here so that we know what their description is of the episode. Okay, I think it's actually in my description of this, but let me just grab it here for you guys. Okay, so Jason confronts Danny, aka Polly Pocket, about his drinking. As Danny looks to make amends with Jasmine and Melissa, Kristen attempts to defend the Bookos, and in the process, a rumor about the Capernas emerges. So that is the official description of this episode, episode 7. I'm going to be sharing some screenshots as well as we go through. And just sound off. Thank you, Silly Goose, for the first super chat of the live. I appreciate you starting it, getting it rolling. Silly Goose says, definitely need this fixed today. Hey, guys. Thanks, Joleen. Silly Goose, it's always good to see you. And thank you so very much. Okay, so maybe let's break this down. Well, first things first, we know that Zach, we get a little more insight into Zach's life. You know, Zach is talking about his boyfriend who's still married, who's also Canadian, on again, off again, but they've now made it official. They went on a road trip. Jasmine and Melissa, Jasmine's fiance, they go and pick up Zach from the airport, which, of course, Zach is the one that you're going to have to pick up because Zach has told us he's the poorest one in the group. So he's just like us. All right. Even though I still will usually take an Uber or something, unless it's I'm visiting home and then my mom, aka Nana, will come pick me up. But he needs his friends to pick him up from LAX. And as someone who lived in LA for 6 years or so, going to LAX is a nightmare. And I'm sure in most cities, major cities across the US, going to any airport to pick anyone up is a damn nightmare. LAX is just, it's one of my least favorite airports. It sucks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now I live in Palm Springs, and let me tell you, the Palm Springs airport is like heaven. There's never any lines. People talk to you. You know, TSA is just like, hey, where you go to other airports and they're like, take your shoes off. No, you got anything in your pockets? Are you drinking something? And you're like, oh my God. I just feel instant anxiety going to most airports and the way they're run and the amount of traffic. But if you ever have to travel, and you can, travel into these smaller airports because they are laid back and cool. And I love it. So Zach gets picked up and he's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend, we're official. And they took a road trip, I think from Texas to Kentucky. And he said that he's like, my boyfriend was with his husband for 10 years, but they've been separated for 2 years, which Zach and him have been on and off again. And he said that he is prettier and younger than his Canadian boyfriend's ex-husband. So he's very proud of that. Right, Krista? It's just the worst. So the fact that they brought this up while picking him up, it tracks, you guys. It tracks. I'm sure most of you have been to LAX. It's a damn mess. So they have they have some conversations about the friend group and getting us further into this wonderful, crazy episode of The Valley. So we get a little more insight into, we're seeing a little more of Melissa, obviously, and more of Zach's boyfriend via pictures. But we're getting to know more about Jasmine and Zach's love life. Where last season, I believe Melissa was talked about, but I don't think she wanted to be on the show, and now she's on the show. And then Zach really didn't have as big of a, I mean, he had a big role last season, but he wasn't like, you know, his personal life wasn't focused on, I guess I'll say. Okay, so let's talk about I'm going to kind of jump around in this episode of things that I want to talk about, and hopefully you guys want to talk about as well. Okay, let me pull up my other screenshots. All right, we got to talk about this scene with Jason and freaking Danny Bucco and Luke. Okay, so you know, Jason has talked to his wife Janet. When Janet told him about her seeing Danny drinking in the pantry, and chugging or taking sips off of the tequila bottle in secret, and then drinking a White Claw, Jason wanted to further talk to Danny. So they go out to this place, Heavy Handed. I guess it's a new burger place in LA. Danny shows up. They order their stuff, and then they start talking about the situation with Jasmine and what Janet saw him drinking in the closet. And here is where I can see that both sides are like, what are you talking about? What are they talking about here? So Danny's inability to admit he's drunk is ridiculous and infuriating to me. It's like, dude, you were drunk. We talked about this previously. Some of you don't agree with me. Some of you do. That's fine. But seeing how Danny reacts when he's drunk and seeing how defensive he is about his drinking makes me think there's more to it. It makes me think there's a problem there. And as a recovering alcoholic myself, it's a little too relatable. You know what I mean? So I wish Danny, a little Polly Pocket, would own it, would just own the fact that like he was drunk, but he won't. He's like, I didn't chug. All I had was a White Claw, and I had a shot of tequila, and sir, you got to the winery late. You said, I need to catch up. You were chugging. You could tell Nia, just looking at you watching the episode, was like, oh, here we go. He's starting a la Dorinda, and then everyone was on, in the cars or the Ubers to go home, and you were still chugging wine at the table, trying to get drunk. And you did. The problem is, Danny, you drinking isn't like everyone else drinking. I mean, some of them you're similar to in that you're problematic when you drink. The way you talk to your wife, obviously your behavior towards Jasmine and Melissa, it's not fun. So your friends aren't going to love when you drink. So you can keep saying, and the excuse can keep being made that everybody on that show drinks, but does everyone on the show sexually harass their friends when they're drunk? Does everyone on the show talk to their wife in a disrespectful way when they're drunk? So those are the things you need to look for. So there's a difference between him being drunk and everyone else. Now, I do understand that there is a hypocrisy and an irony that exists when the rest of these drunks are calling out him for being a drunk. So I do understand that part. But Danny's behavior, similar to Jax's behavior, it's unhinged when they're under the influence. And it's not fun to be around, especially for women, it looks like. So that's where I stand with him. Jason comes here ready to hold Danny accountable and call him out. But I didn't think Jason did this in a disrespectful way. Danny took it as the ultimate offense. How dare he? Now, I will say in Danny's defense, which you won't hear me say very often, Jason did act like it was all good in the hood in Santa Barbara. They do a flashback to the hot tub, and Jason's like, I don't see what the big deal is. You just fell asleep. Bro, you can't play both sides of the fence. I don't know if Jason has, if he has the type of personality where he wants everyone to like him, or if he's just weak sauce. I'm not sure. But you got to stand by the shit. You can't be going wishy-washy. So I understand Danny being like, you didn't have a problem with this before. Now, the argument could be made. He talked to his wife. His wife has a problem. Therefore, that becomes his problem. And I think as like a good supportive husband, yeah, if you made his wife feel uncomfortable and you made some of his girlfriends feel uncomfortable, he has an obligation now to confront you about it. So I would rather have a situation where, right or wrong, Jason is willing to confront another man on these shows, because we see it so much on Bravo, where the men just have each other's back through toxic behavior, bad behavior, all the bad things. They never stand up to each other, or they never stand up to one another. They never really take up for the women. They just enable the problematic dudes. But I think Jason was too wishy-washy here with like saying it wasn't and then it was. But Danny is defensive. The number one thing is that he's defensive. And when you're this defensive about your drinking, there's a problem. That is my experience. That is the experience of many. Why would you be so defensive? And he is. So he gets really mad. And in this conversation, Danny even admits, because, Danny said, oh, I have apologized already. And Jason says, well, Jasmine seems to still be triggered when she sees you under the influence. It triggers her from that behavior, whether it be a year ago, 10 years ago. It's just triggering her to that time when you were acting really gross to her and her fiance and grabbing asses and grabbing their legs and telling them to call you daddy and get you a drink. And you seem to be in that level of intoxication. And Danny agrees, like, okay, I do need to have another conversation with her. So then Jason goes further and says, well, it sounds like, yeah, you're going to apologize again. You're going to make, and he's like, what? Danny gets really defensive. You're not listening, Danny. You just literally told Jason that you're going to talk to Jasmine again about this. So Jason, and you're talking about the apology, Jason's assuming you're going to be apologizing again. Just logically, that goes together. And as a lawyer, Jason's probably putting the steps together like that. But Danny, super emotional about this, super defensive. I don't like it. And I know I'm probably in the minority here because I've seen social media and people are like very much, leave Danny alone. And I don't get it. But everyone has the right. That's the thing about these shows. As we talk about, similar to sports, people are going to have different perspectives and different thoughts on it. And that's what makes, the discourse about these shows interesting and also infuriating. Krista says, I've never seen an apology. I've never seen more apology and work from Danny than I have ever seen. Oh, you have seen. Yes. That's the one thing I will give Danny credit for as well. We have seen Danny at least try and apologize and seem, when Danny does ultimately meet with Jasmine and Melissa again, it does seem like he wants to hear them out. Of course, Danny admits that there's shame in his behavior, and there should be. When you behave poorly like that, and when you do things, whether under the influence or not, that hurt other people, make them feel uncomfortable, you should feel shame. That's healthy. That's normal. That is signifying to us, like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to, this kind of behavior isn't the thing I want. You should have shame. When you stop having shame, that's when you become Jax, when you just don't care. So I don't think Danny's at the level where he doesn't care, but it's infuriating to see him be so defensive of the drinking. Like, obviously, sir, you're smart enough and old enough, Polly Pocket, to realize that at your age, if you're acting a certain type of way you don't want to be acting, that you don't really see yourself as under the influence of alcohol, maybe alcohol isn't the best choice for you. And again, if it's not a problem, like Danny says, then stop doing it. And then that alleviates the whole problem. But I think it is a problem, and I don't think he can just stop, because I think there is more of a drinking issue going on, where I know better than anybody, as someone who is sober now, you can't just say, okay, I'm done. That's it. That's not usually how it works. HZMT says, Danny's apologies felt like political lip service for the fandom. It could be, and he is an actor. Okay. And he is an actor. So we'll see. But right now, Jax is just such the devil that I do want to, make the clarification that Danny is no Jax. But when you let behavior like Danny's go unchecked, Danny's become Jax's so fast. And that's what happened on Bravo. We've made excuses for years and years. The editing have, the producers have, the other cast members have, the audience has, for certain men. And then, like, that's what they do, or they're entertaining, or this or that. And then as time goes on, they get worse and worse. And then we are met with the Jaxes, the Sandoval's, amongst many other men on Bravo that aren't related to the Vanderpump Valley world. So Danny, it does seem, and I don't like as well when he did meet with Jasmine and Melissa, and they were trying to explain to him, because they, it's one thing to just apologize. It's one thing to be like, I apologize. A lot of times people want you to hear them. They want you to understand. And I think that's an important part of the apology process, is to understand why what you did hurt that person. Understand why what you did needs an apology. And I think that's what Jasmine and Melissa were trying to do. And also bring light to the fact that it is different, because they are they are lesbians, and compared to like the straight couples, the reactions. And I think it is a lot too of things that Jasmine and maybe Melissa as well feel about their relationship and how it's looked at in society. As it's not serious. Oh, two girls, how like gross dudes handle lesbian relationships, where they're like, okay, prove it, kiss, where they have created like they act as though this is just a category in their porn selection. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a legitimate relationship. And so I think we have Jasmine talking about that and how that feels to have your relationship questioned, not being deemed as legitimate as a straight couple. And also not having, as she talked about, what would happen if Danny did this to one of those straight ladies, and then their significant others would probably would have fought him, and I don't think if Danny did this to like Kristen, Janet, well, who knows now with the way Jason's acting, but to any of the straight women, I don't think their husbands would want the guy around, knowing that when he drinks, he tends to, or has sexually harassed their wife. So Jasmine was looking to be heard. Danny's like, okay, I understand, but I don't like that Danny was still using excuses like, I was on a lot of antibiotics. I'm sorry, what? First of all, if you're on antibiotics, why are you drinking? Why are you out partying? Why didn't you stay home and get well? Do antibiotics affect the alcohol you consume? I don't know. But what a weird excuse. Like, don't drink them. If you know you're on antibiotics, the only one that can control what you put in your body to make you intoxicated is you, bro. So that falls on you, not the antibiotics. Then you should know better. But you don't. Or maybe you can't. The jury's still out if it's a problem. So also, I think another important thing that I've witnessed and seen people reacting to is this was a year later. Some people are like, it's a year later. Come on, build a bridge, whatever. And I think Danny as well is like, I've apologized. Big deal. Your apology, just because you apologize, you are not guaranteed forgiveness. And you also cannot control how that person feels about you going forward. And you can't control whether they still feel some type of way about you. Like, you are not guaranteed forgiveness. Even when someone says, I forgive you, you're not necessarily guaranteed forgiveness. Some shit people have a hard time getting over, and it changes the dynamic of the relationship or friendship for the rest of their life. And that sucks, but that's a part of it. So my argument would then be, why put yourself in a situation with alcohol and booze, which are the same things, Joleen. But why put yourself in a situation where you know this certain thing might make you act a way you don't want to act and be detrimental to your friendships? Why are you still drinking? And why are you still drinking heavily? There's a lot of people, and I heard Jason say this on the after show, if he was in that situation and had done that, he's like, I would have quit drinking. So it's just like, ugh. But I did think that Danny was doing too much in this situation. I don't think there's anything wrong with Jason confronting him, but Jason, you can tell he shut down. Once Danny got aggressive and he started to yell. Why are you yelling, bro? Nothing Jason said justified you getting aggressive and yelling and shut up. Like, who taught this man conflict resolution? Who taught this man how to have a discussion or be held accountable by another man? Because if we know anything from the toxic men of Bravo and the misogyny that exists in these shows, these men need to be held accountable by other men. That's true for the misogyny that exists in society. They don't give a shit if we ladies say shit to them because they don't respect us. These type of men. And I'm, obviously I don't know if Danny's a full misogynist, but I think for the most part, most of these men on these reality shows, oh my goodness. But they don't care if the women are pissed. They want the respect and they want the acceptance of the men. So when the men call them out and turn on them, it has a way bigger, impact on them than when the women do. So I'm all for the men holding each other accountable and calling each other out. So when Danny starts yelling, I'm just like, can you imagine what Nia has to put up with? Yeah, Danny told him to shut up. And Jason was like, but Jason shut down. And Danny's like, shut up! Shut up! Ben says, Joleen, stop offending the Capernas. I can't help it. They're my favorite. Just kidding. They're not. But I will say, I am always going to encourage the men of Bravo to call each other out and hold each other accountable. Because I'm sick of the bro code. I'm sick of all these slimy snakes sliding through because the other men enable them and make excuses for them and stick up for them. I hate it. That's the guy group chat mentality. I don't like it. So the fact that Jason was willing to call him out, I was like, hell yeah. And Danny's reaction made me think, oh, this guy is a joke. He's a joke. Dreadful Ruby says the turnover for Bravo shows is unfortunate in these times. We often know what's happening from social media. William says Jax had to go to the emergency room. He tried to put alcohol up his nose. Did he? That's the thing. I believe that he would do that. I believe he would snort alcohol. Danielle said last season, everyone alluded to the fact that Danny has issues when he drinks. Yes, and we saw it. Nia removed him, and we saw that too. Thank you, Danielle, from every situation with the excuses of kids when she saw him turning. Exactly. Dark side, Darkwing Duck Danny was showing, and Nia, unfortunately, as the wife of him, finds herself in a position where she feels like she has to pick up the pieces and protect him and save him from himself. Bro, learn how to handle your booze or stop drinking. And if it's a problem, get help. That's it. That's the bottom line. Stop being defensive. Stop acting like you're a victim. What I see he's going to be saying to Jasmine coming up, when you said about me and keep saying about me, it's hurting me in the friend group. No, what people saw you do and how people see you act when you're drunk is hurting your friendships. It's your behavior. I just don't like this lack of accountability and he's a victim. He's not a victim. Danny is not a victim. All right. If you truly are sorry and you truly don't want to be that man, don't get to that level of intoxication Hear these people out and understand that just because you apologize and just because they were like, okay, we want to work on our friendship, that doesn't mean that this isn't still going to have an effect on them. I don't know. How would you feel, Danny? Like, I hate to have to break it down. How would you feel if someone treated Nia like this? If someone got drunk and was grabbing Nia's leg and saying, go get daddy a beverage, and then slapping her ass. Someone who you trusted, someone in your friend group. Would you feel comfortable even after they apologized for Nia to be alone with them when they were drinking? If you saw them drunk again, would you feel comfortable with Nia being around them? Or would you be worried that they were going to resort to that behavior again and hurt your wife, make her uncomfortable, sexually harass her? I don't know. I think you would probably be worried that was going to happen again. So even though it's been a year, that's not long enough. And Jasmine can be mad her whole life if she wants to. And you can not like Jasmine and how she's dealing with other situations in the show and still recognize that when a woman gets sexually harassed, and especially by someone she trusts, her and her wife, that she's going to feel some type of way, maybe forever. Because I'll tell you, if you did that shit to me, I would hate you forever. Sorry. And you're still getting drunk? I wouldn't feel safe around you. I'm not making excuses for dudes like this. It's 2025. Grow up. He's like 50. So he just gets to go get drunk and act a fool. And everyone's just supposed to be like, well, everybody drinks. No, not everybody drinks like that. You know who drinks like that? Drunks. So go get help. Quit. Or shut up about it. Okay? I'm so tired of this man. The more I talk about it, I'm so tired of this man. Ugh. These men on these shows. It's just like gross. And I see people sticking up for them. I'm like, why? I like Nia too. But okay. Moving on. Brittany gives us an update on what's going on with Jax. Well, first we get an update from Jax, which I'm just like, ugh. So then we get Mr. Crybaby, fake tears, horrible father, abusive husband going, I've been in here for 17 days. And you're like, okay, cool. Stay forever. You know, when Brittany said she wished he was in prison, I said, me too. Hashtag me too. Hashtag the world too. Yuck, 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 yuck. I hate it. Why they're giving this man camera time in rehab to promote his bars again on his hat and shirts. If he was truly in treatment, the thing when you are in treatment, you know, and substance abuse, you could not get away with wearing your merch. You have to, they want you to find humility. They want you to humble yourself. This man is advertising his shitty back alley bar business. Any respectable treatment place would not allow that to happen. So I don't think he's in any kind of alcohol, cocaine treatment. He's just at a fancy schmancy place that sometimes gives you therapy, kind of, on your terms because you're paying so much. I don't know. So he's crying. He's like, I'm in my son. I haven't seen him. This is the longest I went without seeing him. Are you sure? Because Brittany's telling us now, you know, you've been out now of the treatment, whatever it is, place of the spa. You've been out of the medical spa, the med spa, for now almost a year. And you're still not seeing your son as often. You're still not invested in his doctor's appointments since his autism diagnosis. Brittany's doing everything. We find it on the after show. You're not even paying like child support for your kid. You gave her like $3,000 in all of 2024. And not to mention, you made your son and your then wife, Brittany, move out of the home where your son feels safe and has developed a routine, which is very important, like Brittany said, for many autistic people to have that routine, and for any child to have that stability of their home and feel safe. You made them move out into rental properties so you could stay in your house, only for you then later to be in this med spa for 17 days and then meet with Brittany to see your son finally. And you and your therapist tell Brittany that you leased a place next to Tom Schwartz. But not only that, you guys, he hasn't paid his mortgage. And I think on the after show, we find out that he didn't pay his mortgage even longer. So Brittany says he didn't pay his mortgage since May. And when she said this, it was August. But I think on the after show, Jax himself even admits that it was longer. So anytime this man talks about his son or putting his son first or wanting to be a good dad, it's bullshit. You're a horrendous dad and a horrendous person. And you continue to be. And you continue to lie and try to gaslight, your friend group and the audience. But we see exactly what's going on. You're a liar. You're a fraud. Like, you're a scammer at this point, sir. And these fake ass tears as you are trying to make Brittany's life a living hell, thus making your son's life hell. And you know that when we get to that last scene when she's talking to Tom Schwartz and Tom Schwartz shows up looking a mess. I mean, these men, get it together. What happens when these men turn 40 and they fall apart? Not that they were that put together before, but they fall apart and they resort back to that 20-something mentality. And the cliched answer is midlife crisis. But man, you would think there has to be something a little more serious in order to, destroy your whole life. But I guess not. They're just emotionally stunted. They have arrested development and they want to go back to the period where they were just circle jerking neighbors, chugging Coors Light. I don't know. So he's not paying the mortgage. Then he decides, okay, now Brittany, you can come back and live in the house after kicking her and Cruz out and her having to pay for rental homes. Only for her to find out that the mortgage isn't paid. So he's basically doing what she feared, is trying to stick her with the $14,000 mortgage. And when I was watching, I'm like, how the frick could this ugly manufactured farmhouse looking place in the valley have a $14,000 mortgage? Like, that's ridiculous. A month. Come to find out, I think Brittany said now it's $18,000 because remember, you guys, Jax didn't pay taxes for 6 years. So I believe they took out a second mortgage on the house for him to pay off all the taxes he owed because he was just like, I just didn't want to. I didn't have it. What? So you just didn't file your taxes for 6 years? You're a psycho. But you have this back alley empty bar? When they went to the bar, I was like, what in the tent is this? Like, what? I bet you someone is still paying the rent on this monstrosity. What is going on? What in the summer camp from hell? This looks like Jason's going to jump out. Not Jason Capernas, but Jason in the horror movie is going to jump out and murder everybody. The giant fan, it's literally a tent. Look at the ceiling. And he bought some like dirty old booth seats and IKEA coffee tables. Look at the floor. I mean, it's a mess. But that was a priority, but not paying your taxes wasn't. Paying your mortgage wasn't. But you got all this time to buy cocaine, to take these ladies with the Jumbotron tots on dates and bang them. You got all this money for this back alley tent bar. So Brittany said it's $18,000 a month because of his tax situation. And he was just going to leave her in a home that's delinquent on its mortgage with his son. But he wants to tell us that he loves his son and he's worried. Send this man to jail. Jax needs to go to prison. I'm telling you, this man needs to see some jail time. Okay. I know they took out the Chrisleys. We'll put him in. Give him Todd Chrisleys. Is that his name? I don't know much about them. That's what everyone's talking about. The Chrisleys. And I'm like, oh, yay. Put him in there. Put him in the cell that Joe Giudice was in. Do something. Get him out of here. I'm so tired of this man. Brittany just told us on Lala's podcast that we were going to see more awful things from Jackson. I was like, oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting this. I don't know why I wasn't, but I just wasn't. Mr. This is my house. I must defend it. You guys got to get out. My son, get out of here. Leave. And then you're not paying your mortgage? But somehow you have thousands of dollars to put down and sign a lease on a place next to Tom Schwartz. Oh, this guy is a fucking loser. If you see this man, just know he's a fucking loser. No one should ever date him. He should never get any vagina. No woman should ever grace him with their presence. He's a fucking loser with collapsed valves. Okay? He's a loser. He's a boozer, a user, a loser, a liar, all the things, because he's been out or been sober, allegedly, for, a while now, and he's still lying and behaving badly. Just watch the after show. Just watch his social media. Just watch what Brittany's telling us. It's so ridiculous. And I love how Brittany's telling this to Tom Schwartz, who just looks, Tom Schwartz, you need a nap, a shower. We got to dry you out too, sir. These men, I'll tell you, as you get older, the substances show more and more and more. Allegedly, obviously, with his linen shirt. He's out there being like, he needs to man up. I'm sorry, what, Schwartz? When have you ever manned up in your whole holy life? Like, what? And right before then, he tells Brittany, well, yeah, I think he's doing well. So you've been friends with Jax for this long, and you still don't realize how manipulative he is? The thing is, Schwartz does realize. He just doesn't care. He's willing to lie for Jax. He's willing to lie for all of his guy friends. So when I say I would rather see someone like Jason, or not, maybe not someone like Jason, but someone calling out men like Jason did in that scene, calling out Danny and telling him to revisit the apology in the situation with Jasmine and talking about him drinking and it making his wife uncomfortable and sneaking it in the pantry. I appreciate that more than I do Tom Schwartz, who will forever make excuses for these toxic men. But when it's cool to jump on the ladies' team for a second in a scene so he can get some airtime and some money, he'll do that and go, oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm not in cahoots. Okay. The same way you weren't in cahoots with Scandival. The same way you didn't enable Tom Sandoval all those years. The same way you never called any of your friends out for treating women horrifically. Yep. You're so innocent. And really, people need to stop. Like, the cast members, the other women, stop giving this man all the grace and acting like he's a baby and doesn't know better. He's old as fuck and he knows better. And he enables these men and he doesn't care. He just is such a pussy and doesn't want to be held accountable and doesn't want social media to drag him. But he's just as problematic as them because he enables them. And when he can stand up and man up, like he says, and tell these guys that this is wrong and I won't be a part of this and I won't befriend a man who acts like Jax or Tom Sandoval, he doesn't do it. He never has done it. Horrible. He's horrible. And he knows better. Evelyn says, Schwartz looked disassociated or very high in the after. He looks horrible. He looks horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Ben says 27 likes and Jason Capernas is getting blocked and Joleen will never mention them again. Hit that like. Well, I don't know if that's the case, but Mystic says, preach. Kristen says he's a vulnerable narc right there, right? He's just as bad as the other guys. He just acts like a baby. One of the few things Lala was right about, like fingers in my mouth, nervous, fingers in my mouth, was when she pretended she didn't like Tom Schwartz. But really, she loves him and he's going to be a guest on her podcast next week. But she still hates Katie. Make it make sense other than you just hate women. You just hate women. That's what you do. Speaking of, who laughed out loud when Lala was confronting Jesse Lawley and said, well, I tend to side with the woman in these situations. I was like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? Ariana would beg to differ. You tend to side with the woman when you can make money off of it or get opportunities for yourself. But I'm sorry, we remember Vanderpumprules, especially season 11. Apologies, guys, if you see me touching my eyes. My allergies are like driving me nuts, and I'm trying my best to just will them away because the allergy medication and the drops are not working. So shout out to my other allergic kings and queens out there. It's a hell of an allergy season. But when she was like, yo, Jesse, because Jesse, Brittany's having this party. It's a shark theme party. Okay, whatever. Lala shows up. She's going to give birth in 3 weeks. Jesse Lawley shows up and he's like, hey, Lala, what do you do? And she's like, 3 weeks. He's like, I'm jealous. I'm like, what a weird thing to say. I always wanted more kids. She's like, well, do you think you should have more kids given how you treat your baby mama, or do you want to get popped, bro? I'm from the mean streets of fucking Salt Lake City, ho. You sure you want to? And I'm like, oh, here we go with the performative gangster feminist. Lala, we see you. We see you for who you are. You don't give a shit. If it benefits you, you'll give a shit. But if it don't benefit you, Lala's the type of person you'd watch her on What Would You Do? John Quinones would always approach her and go, why didn't you say anything? Why did you let that happen? Why did you take part in the bullying of that individual? And she'd be like, oh, I'm not signing the release on this. And then Sheena comes over to listen because they need screen time.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
So Jesse's like, oh, well, she's like, did you call your baby mama how you treat your baby mama, bitch? Did you call your baby mama a whore? And he's like, we make mistakes because Jesse's an idiot. And he's like, people make mistakes. She's like, I don't care. Just think of Isabella. If a guy did this to Isabella, would you be okay? I don't think you would. You grab a shotgun. Oh my God. Immediately to the pew-pew as Lala goes. Thug life was like thug lifing. And she's like, I don't care about you. I don't care. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to fucking see you. You were mean to my friend. And now I'm done with you. And if Lala hasn't shown us so many times that this is just performative, I'd be like, hell yeah. Because everything she said, yes, true. He sucks. How dare he be out here like slut shaming and shit. Like calling the mother of your child a whore and a hooker and spreading rumors and all. It's like, yuck. But we know this is performative on Lala's part, so I'm like, boring, bring a book. And then Jesse doesn't even take her seriously because he knows she's a fake and phony. So he's like, that was hilarious. Because it was hilarious. Because it's so fake, dude. Oh my God. It's like Tom Sandoval acting.
Have some remorse. Have some sensitivity.
Then we'll see it the end of this season or next season. She'll be having lunch with Jesse to understand him. And it'll be like, fuck Michelle. Michelle and Nia have a little scene too where they take their kids out. And it was really cute because Isabella grabs Nia's son's arm like, we're playing. And then we hear Michelle talking about wanting to marry Crazy Eyes. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Everyone on this show is just ridiculous at this point. She's like, I would like to marry honey Aaron one day. Yeah, Aaron. He's great. I'm like, oh, Lauren, looks like we're going to get more from Aaron. They showed the season, like, still to come on this season of The Valley. Crazy Eyes Aaron is going to be confronted by crazy, American Psycho Jesse Lally. And apparently, according to Michelle, Isabella said, Mommy, I know you used to be married. And when you do get remarried, Daddy has to come. Or she said, Jesse has to come. I was like, oh, jeez. She's like, I do want to marry him. Which is last episode, he didn't want to be with you because your ex is too crazy. So here we are. Yes, Susan, don't forget to smash that like, you guys. Like, this is... I don't want to see this guy on the show. Are you kidding me? Can we get one decent dude on this show? Meanwhile, at the... Jesse went and had a lunch with Kristen and Luke, okay? And it comes up that they are talking about how Jason called out Danny when they were at the burger place. And Kristen gets really defensive about it and was like, he has no room to talk. Okay, if he's going to talk about other people's relationships, maybe he should wear his wedding ring and not take it off when he's out. And this is something we saw in the season preview that we're going to hear that Jason takes his wedding ring off. At this point, nothing would surprise me if he did do that with these dudes. But Kristen, Luke's like, oh, here we go. Kristen is like going to just start saying some rumors and get us in trouble But we know this is Doty. Doty, if she's on your team, Kristendoute, as Lala calls her Doty, she is going to make sure that, you know, if someone's coming for you, she's going to throw some stuff at you, whether it's true, untrue, like she's going to come for you. So you can't come for her friends. And she's already said she has Danny and Nia's back, and she thinks it's ridiculous that they're questioning him and making such a big deal because he just went to sleep. And like Danny said, I wasn't even drunk. It's like, but you were. Just a minute. So Kristen is saying the stuff because she doesn't like Janet and she doesn't like Jason. So she doesn't care. She's like, they're mad at me. I don't give a shit. And Jesse immediately goes, I think that's ridiculous. Because if you do take your ring off, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Of course, says the man who is holding Michelle to the highest standard of like, she was a whore. She kissed another man and she might be a billionaire's, you know, escort. Well, what is it? Is it important to be faithful and shit? Or is it not? Jesse's such a hypocrite. And of course he would say that because he's doing that because he is the type of guy that's going to protect the bros. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kristen was holding on to that one because she knew that for a couple of years. So Kristen's like, oh shit. And she hates Janet and she doesn't like Jason. So she's like, fuck it. I'll put the rumors on them. If they want to do this, I'll put it on them. And that's how Kristen is. Kristen will be messy as hell if you mess with the people that she loves. So this rumor, of course, is going to get back to Jason and Janet. And who tells Jason at Brittany's shark party? So Brittany has the shark party. And who tells Jason? But Jesse. Because Jesse's like, I want to tell you that this is going to come up. Probably. I don't want you to feel blindsided. Did you tell Kristen and Luke, your new best friends who have your back now, that you were going to say what they said? Jesse's such a phony. And Luke's like, what the hell? Are you serious? But before then, Jason goes and at the party, he apologizes to Danny. Because him and Danny have, you know, ever since that conversation at the burger place, Jason's like, I think I went too hard on him. I'm like, but you didn't. You didn't. You were just confronting him. You said it very calmly, very matter-of-factly. Danny's the one that overreacted and was being hysterical. So then Jason saunters over. Hey, Danny, I really like being your friend. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That was bad. I should have handled that better. And I'm like, ugh, he just undid all the good work he did with calling Danny out. And Jason's like crying. I'm like, why are you crying? Oh my God. And some will probably say it's because he really didn't want to do it. And they feel as though he did it for his wife. Maybe he is scared of Janet. I don't know at this point. I don't know. We haven't hit 100 likes yet. Come on, you guys hit that 221 watching. It's a free way to support the channel and it helps so much. Maybe he is. But he's crying. And I'm thinking, this guy is so wishy-washy with Jason. So everything I just said earlier, I take it all back now. I was like, finally, some of the men calling each other out, right or wrong, at least they're calling each other out, you know? And then there's Jason. I'm sorry, Danny. I haven't talked to you in a few days. And I miss you so much. I miss how little you are. I miss how you can fit in my pocket. He's literally 8 feet taller than Danny Bookos. And Danny's like, I'm glad you came around, brother. I'm glad you came around. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. I'm not wrong. You're wrong. You're blowing out of proportion. I'm fine. No issues here. A-okay. He might be afraid of her. He's like, maybe Janet told him, I will re you in your sleep. Okay. But there's Jason. Frickin', let me see if I have a picture of Jason I can put up here. He is just crying over there. Let's see. Maybe, I guess this is one I have not related to the episode, but it's a picture of Jason nonetheless. And he's like, I really want to be your friend. If you can't call your friends out and you can't like tell them honestly how you feel, are you really even friends? Janet's nowhere to be found. So I wonder if she knew he was doing that. He's like, I take it back. I'm just kidding. So then Jason's like, I'm in the clear. And that is when Jesse tells them, oh, BTW, Kristen told us that you take off your wedding ring at bars. And he's like, oh my God. So then he runs in, and you could just, like, Jason is a chicken shit in a lot of ways, because he goes, Zach, is Kristen mad at me? He goes and asks Zach rather than just going over to Kristen right away. And Zach's like, I don't know. And apparently the only reason that Kristen knew this rumor is because Zach told her. So in a lot of ways, Zach and Janet are alike in that they're both super messy and like spread rumors and stuff like that. And we saw that last season as well. And Kristen can be obviously too. She can also be messy. But Zach's like, I don't know, gotta go, bye, see you later. I gotta go with my painted on ab costume, see you later. So then finally the couples sit down to talk at the pool about, did you say that? Janet's like, did you say that, Kristen? What's going on? Because, Jason's like, what's happening? Well, this is what we heard, and we heard it from Jasmine. So then they called Jasmine over. So then Jasmine is just, she sits down. She's like, yeah. And Jason's like, I just stuck up for you. Jasmine's like, yeah, like, I don't know if you did it. You could have, you couldn't have. Like, I'm not really sure. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but you could have done that. I heard it like a couple years ago, and I told Kristen. So they're all just constantly talking behind each other's backs about these rumors. And Jason's like, oh, what the hell? I would have never done the right thing if I knew that you did that. It's just a mess. It's a mess. Oh my gosh. Layla says, I don't trust a guy whose life work is screwing over disabled people so companies can avoid paying medical bills for workers' comp. Is that what his lawyer job is? I'm a nurse practitioner who's dealt with them and they ruin lives. I agree that shit does ruin lives, Layla. I did not know what kind of law he practices, but that's the kind of law. Well, then that might explain more about Jason, allegedly. Oh my God. You guys are like, Jason is scared of Fanit. And who gave her the name Fanit? Did I know about this name before? I didn't know what kind of lawyer he was. I'm just heavily invested in the Karen Reed case, so I thought he was maybe a trial lawyer, defense attorney, prosecutor, or something. But, oh my gosh. If that is true, that's you. Dreadful says, if Jason didn't fold into a ball instantly, I'd say I'd respect him, right? Enough to believe he genuinely did it for Jasmine. But hey, maybe he's just scared of confrontation with everyone, including Janet, probably. And remember, Jasmine is Jason's hall pass, which is interesting. Like, and he's like, I have her back. But they also talk pretty openly about how, I gotta turn off the camera for a second, guys, because my eyes are killing me. They talk pretty openly about how he is like attracted in that way to Jasmine. Him and Janet talk about that, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's weird, right? Fanit is amazing. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna keep the camera off because I gotta wipe this eye makeup off, and my eyes are running, and it's just a mess. So apologies, but oh my God. I took like a allergy medication that is like the generic. I don't know what kind of generic to Claritin or something. I'm not sure. And then I have eye drops too, but it is yuck. Beth says, I'm pretty sure they just say whatever on their resumes these days. Yeah, who knows? According to the Karen Reed trial, they really do. And maybe I should try Zyrtec because I need something better. Ugh, I'm just like draining. So, and I don't want you guys to have to see my eyes watering, because when I see someone else's eyes water, then my eyes water. So I don't want you guys, like Michelle saying, my eyes are sympathetically watering. I kept having to move the live back. I wanted to go live earlier, but literally I had to like sit in a dark room. I hate it. I hate it. Flonase. I've tried Flonase before. Thank you guys for the suggestions. I appreciate you being so sweet and sympathetic to the allergy struggle that so many of us face. Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay. So Janet is just like, that's ridiculous. My husband would never. And Kristen's like, I don't know. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And Jason says, well, it sounds like you heard we had this opinion about Danny. And so you wanted to throw something at us because you're mad about the thing. And Luke pretty much says, yep, that sums it up. And that's what Kristen said too. She's like, oh, I'll just throw that at you. I heard this about you. And if you notice in that scene, you can hear Janet kind of going back and forth with Jason you can hear Jasmine going back and forth with Jason while Janet is talking to Kristen and Luke. And Janet's loud enough where it still picks up on their mics. Or no, Jasmine, sorry, too many J's. Jasmine's loud enough where it still picks up on their mics. And it's like, I had to go back and play that scene a few times to be like, what is going on? There's like too much stuff going on. But we know that, yeah. Araceli says, don't mess with Kristen. Remember, Kristen will be petty. She will be messy. And she brought Miami, girl. And thank God she did that. Kristen will do the damn thing. We've seen Kristen in action many years on reality TV. So this isn't new. She's not new to this. She's true to this. This is what she does. So Janet's like, oh my, this is ridiculous. And Jason says, the only time I take off my ring is if I like forget it at home. I've never taken it off, put it in my pocket. So you think, I need you to say, Janet says to Kristen, that he isn't someone that would like cheat and do that. And Kristen's like, I don't know. I don't know if he is. So, but she doesn't care. She's like, she doesn't like Janet. Janet came for her. She feels like Janet's a fan. She feels like Janet's a fake friend. So Kristen doesn't have time for Janet. You know, and as much as Janet says she wants to make up with Kristen, I don't know if I believe her. Honestly, I don't know if I believe her. I think she doesn't want all of the messiness and pettiness that comes with being an enemy of Kristen. But I don't think Janet's done trying to take down Kristen. I don't think that's the case at all. At the party too, Brittany shares with the group. I thought Brittany looked really good at the party. There seemed to be like a glow about her as she explained going to meet with Jack so that he could see Cruz, and finding out all this information about Jack's leasing an apartment and a place with or next to Schwartz. I thought Brittany looked like glowing, and she looked very beautiful. And how she was like, I'm done. I'm divorcing him. Bear Chase. I am done. Done. And everyone's like, yes. And Sheena's like, Britt, you have to get like an attorney. And Brittany's like, I am. I'm done now. I know I'm done. Jack says he wants to make it work. The fact that Jack's told Brittany he wants to make it work with her while living next to Schwartz and pretending to be like a single guy, but he wants credit because it's just down the street from her. What? No. Oh, that'd be amazing, Kara. I hope Kristen takes down LVP. Well, I have to count the comments on my last video. I told you guys if I got 30 requests in the comment section on my last video. So if you haven't commented on that video, make sure you do, to roast and recap Sheena's book that comes out in July. I'll do it. So I don't know if I got 30 comments yet. But Sheena is allegedly starting the process of calling out LVP, and I'm here for it. Maybe Kristen needs to write another book. I did get a lot, Krista. I did. Jen says, need Janet to be taken down. You need Janet taken down a notch. Well, the person that will do it is kristendoute. Jax's credit score is -5. I checked. I looked it up on creditreportlosers.org. So yeah, you commented there. Well, some of you were really smart about that. You were leaving like one word comments to write out something. I was like, ooh, you guys are so smart. So smart. Paul says the fact that she did not have an attorney yet, it is crazy. It's in the fact that like all of the stuff we're finding out between him, not paying the mortgage, to him not paying his taxes. I mean, I think we knew that when the news dropped that he hadn't paid his taxes, but I forgot that it was 6 years. Like, what a fucking loser. And the fact that he had the means to do it. He was privileged enough to be on television, get paid more than he deserved, be able to get brand sponsorship deals and things, and have a podcast, even though he's an idiot and no one should listen to anything he says, and he still can't pay his freaking bills, is a joke. It's because Jax's issue is Jax always wanted to be the other Tom to Tom Schwartz. He wanted to be the Sandoval to Tom Schwartz. And now he sees that crack opening. And so he's jumping in. He wants Sandoval's sloppy seconds with Schwartz. That's what Jax wants. So he's got to open the bar. He's got to live next to him. Like, he's obsessed with Tom Schwartz. Jax never loved Brittany, but he definitely loved Tom Schwartz. Like, he's such a fucking loser. And you can tell he's so excited to be next to Tom Schwartz. I love this account on Twitter, Rex Weed, one of my favorites when it comes to especially stuff on Bravo and the Valley. Popper new. Lariza Pam said, look at him rubbing his eyes so hard. They reflexively water up. Laughing my ass off. Let it go, you stupid fudge. We know you are full of shit and that you don't love your family in any capacity whatsoever. And that's the truth. That is the damn truth, because Stone Cold says so. Totally true. Another one from Rex Weed on Twitter says, firstly, Jesse looks like an effing moron. Second of all, Jesse looks like a serious effing moron. Third of all, dudes are lying when they say they take their wedding ring off regularly. It's not a $10,000 engagement ring. It's a fucking band. They do it for a reason. Yeah, it's not like they're like, oh, I have to make sure that this really expensive wedding band is okay. No, that's not it. You know exactly why they do it. I also loved this take from Rex Weed. It says, fun fact, if you think these two are the biggest problem with the show, being Melissa and Jasmine, then you are actually the biggest problem with the show. Hashtag the Valley. And I'm like, I can't disagree. I agree with that opinion right there. Right there. Because there are so many more problematic people on the show that are the real problems. But this is the real love triangle of the season. Of Jax just wanting Schwartz all to himself and to live that single life again. Thank you, Pamela. Says, Jolene's aviator glasses are much cooler than Jesse's. And seeing Schwartz. So now we have Sheena, Lala, and Schwartz. Fully, all of them emerged in an episode. It's only a matter of time before they're regular cast members. And we all just have to suck it up. Because that's how it's going to go. We don't have a say. They were going to make these three happen because they need a job. Allegedly. They need a job. So I'm just like, ugh, we really don't need them. So the episode ends with Brittany and Jasmine at Jax's back alley bar. In a tent. No one's there because it doesn't do good business, and it's who would want to go in there? The ambiance sucks. They got meatballs, bear cheese that I think they took off the menu since Britt has filed for divorce. So what's there? Nothing. No reason to go there. And with Brittany divulging this information about the mortgage and Jax trapping her into this mortgage with their son. And then we have the preview for coming up on this season, the rest of the season of the Valley. And it looks like we're going to see more fights. We're going to see a sit down with Jesse and Crazy Eyes. So a trip. We're going to find out why Luke was running around in his Grundies. You know, we're probably going to see more of Brock. Did anyone else scream when they saw Brock on this episode? I was like, it's starting. It's starting. So your Schwartz is gray now. He's kind of gray. He is. Oh my gosh. So, oh my God. Yes. I want Brittany on Love Hotel, especially the fact that Jack's still in the after show is blaming not paying the rent or not paying the mortgage, probably not paying taxes as well, still on Brittany having sex with his alleged friend when they were separated with that hanger-on guy that Lala brought into the group years ago. Whatever his name is, Julian. Jackson's like, yeah, I did. I made some really bad decisions and it's on me. I get it. And yeah, I did drugs and yeah, I was a bad partner and yeah, I'm a liar and yeah, I'm a thief and yeah, I don't pay my taxes and yeah, I didn't pay the mortgage and yeah, I'm a scammer and yeah, I'm like a serial killer and yeah, I don't really love my son and I just use him as a shield. Yeah, all those things. But I think it was because when Brittany had sex with Julian, my friend, it was so hard on me. I really went to a dark place and I'm like, throw this man in the trash. This man is still blaming Brittany finally getting some dick after being treated like shit, after her husband throwing her under the bus, talking shit about her, body shaming her, calling her ugly, cheating on her, emotionally abusing her, physically abusing her, throwing coffee tables at her. She waits till she's separated, goes out, gets some dick, and he's like, that's the reason. And I will say, last night, if Brittany wants to solve some of her if she has some financial issues, they were playing old Vanderpump last night. I don't know if you guys caught it after the new episode of The Valley, but they played the episode where Jax proposed to Brittany at that Neptune's net. And I forgot that the ring is worth like 70 G's. I mean, according to Kyle Chan, so that could be a lie. But sell it, babe. Go pawn that shit off. Take that money. Take that money, put it towards, your mortgage if you want to stay in that house in the valley. But I forgot that it was like an expensive ring. But watching that episode where Jax is proposing at Neptune's Net, a restaurant I have been to in Malibu or on the way to Malibu on the PCH, like it was good. The seafood was good, but there's literal picnic tables there, porta potties. They're eating fried fish. And that's where Tamra and Eddie, if they're going to go on one of their biking road trips, stop to have a little meal while they're in their Harley Davidson gear. When he could have literally had lunch and then walked over across the street to the ocean and proposed next to the ocean, which would be better than proposing at a restaurant with porta potties and picnic tables that serves their food on plastic trays in plastic baskets. So we should have known that it was destined to be, a mess, this marriage. Araceli says it's a free for all. Yeah, trying to get a table at Neptune's, like how little people were there the day they got engaged. That's not normal. It's not romantic place. It can be yummy and get some shrimpies and stuff. The proposal was so sad, and he had the ring against his sweaty balls. Ugh. Yeah, he needed an audience of motorcycle. The poor people of motorcycle drivers. The poor people were there. They were like, oh, and you could tell they felt bad too. They were like, oh, he's proposing next to a porta potty. Yeah. And there's an awkward clap. And she's like, oh my God. Oh my God, James. Oh my God. And Tom Sandoval calling him out, like, are you sure you're not just doing this because your dad just died and stuff? And he's like, yeah, I am doing that. Yeah, I am. Because she stayed with me. I'm like, what? Lola Lou, thank you so much for the super chat. That was very kind and generous of you. I appreciate that. Like, that engagement was not thought out. You took a limo to Neptune's Net for her to then use a porta potty? Huh? Or did they just take the limo home and they took it? I don't know. When you can see the ocean in the background, you could have taken her over there. You could have had it all set up nice. And then he put all the work on Stassi and Katie and the Toms to get the party ready at their apartment for the little impromptu engagement party. What a loser. So horrible. Red Wolf says Jax's ego couldn't handle her effing someone else. Nope. His psycho brain, he can't handle it. That's why you guys are right. She should go on Love Hotel. Can't handle someone being better than him, especially with his wife. And it looks like Brittany has found someone better than Jax. I mean, not that it's that difficult. It also looks like Brittany, all her exes, they don't look like Jax at all. So maybe Jax isn't normally the type of guy that she's attracted to, because allegedly she has a new boyfriend. And the new boyfriend looks a lot cuter. I don't know his backstory, but according to page 6, she's casually dating a musician, Will Gittins. And let me pull up the picture here so you guys, in case you haven't heard, because I think this just came out yesterday and Care Bear sent it to me. Will Gittins. I'm Brittany. Let me share this with you guys. Seems, again, he could, I don't know if he's a cheater, pumpkin eater. So he could be a whole mess himself, but he already looks better than Jax. And I don't know how you can get much worse than Jax unless she meets like a modern day Ted Bundy or something, maybe. But let me show you guys. And now everybody's talking about it. So I don't know if she's come out and confirmed this, but good for you. I mean, the fact that she's with someone cooler, again, not hard to get cooler than Jax, but this musician. Okay, here, let me share it this way with you guys. Okay, here we go. All right. So page 6, Brittany Cartwright casually dating musician Will Gittins amid Jaxtaylor divorce. So that guy already looks a million times hotter than Jaxtaylor ever looked. So they're casually dating. Cartwright and at least one of her Valley co-stars attended Gittins' Los Angeles show last month. In one video that was posted by his music production studio, JB Entertainment's Instagram page, the R&B crooner, oh, she's with an R&B singer, get it, Britt, was seen chatting with Cartwright, 36, at what looked like an after party. So let me look up Will Gittins, see if we got a little tea on Willie Will. Will Gittins. The Gittins is good with Will Gittins. He's 32 years old. I think Brittany, she's like 36. He was born in 92. And he's a Gemini. Could be good, could be bad. He's got 1 million followers on Instagram. He's got music videos like My Boo. Wait, did he? Let me hear a little bit. Oh, no, I think, did an acoustic cover of My Boo with Usher and Alicia Keys. I was like, did he write that? Is he the Candy Burris? Is he the male Candy Burris coming in? Brittany Cartwright finds new love, Us Weekly. I don't know if he's ever been married before, but things are heating up, according to Us Weekly, for the two of them. They aren't exclusively dating, a source told us about the pair. It's casual. Brittany's having a lot of fun. She's 36. She was spotted with him again, attending one of the shows, and then after the show, they were spotted chatting. Oh, shit. Because remember, she's like, I haven't had attention or affection in a long time. Because Jax is a loser. He's a boozer, a user, and a loser. Let me see if I can hear a little bit of this man's music. Falling for You. He has a YouTube channel where he has 723,000 subscribers, which is, no small feat there for this gentleman. There's Brittany and Brittany's tots. And there is Will. Will is willing there. He's willing and ready. Ugh, why did you change? Yahoo, you suck. You suck, Yahoo. Stop it. All right, let's see. His most recent video was 5 days ago. Let's listen to a little bit and see. Of course, there's an ad. Stupid ad. I have YouTube Premium. Why is there an ad? Hurry up. Okay. Chill R&B love songs. Best of Will Gittins covers. Oh.
Yeah. It's amazing how you knock me off my feet.
Every time you
come around me, I get weak.
Okay, let's see what other ones are. Oops. Get out of here. Oh, that's him and a lady.
When other brothers taking over, but it's still in your eyes. Even though we used to argue, it's alright. I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but you will always be my
A good voice, and he's cute, and he's not Jax. Get it, Brittany. So excited for Brittany. If the rumors are true and they are in fact dating. So there's the two of them chatting. This is a clip, or this is a still from a video in one video that was posted by his music production studio, JB Entertainment Instagram page. The R&B crooner was seen chatting with Cartwright at what looked like an after party. So I don't know. I mean, is that the only proof they have that they're dating? But yeah, when she was on Lala's podcast, remember Lala did say, Lala's so messy in a bad way. She said about Brittany's guy she's seeing, I like the guy who you fell straight on your ass out of the shower. Remember when Lala was like trying to embarrass Brittany and the guy laughed and he still wanted to be with you after, like falling down would stop a guy like, oh my God, the stupid klutzy bitch. I'm never talking to you again. Like a normal man would go, that's it. We're done. Did you accidentally fall out of the shower? You dumb bitch. Don't call me again. Like what? But then she said, Lala also mentioned something about the guy that she has a crush on, or the guy she's kind of seeing, being Brittany, how he was like talented. So I don't know. But this is an upgrade from Jax. Let me upgrade you. Total upgrade in every way possible that you can upgrade. And I don't know anything more about this man other than he can sing and he's attractive. So if it's true, get it, Britt. Because Jax is a loser. All right, you guys are wonderful. I appreciate you guys. That is our roast and recap of this latest episode of The Valley. Apologies for my camera being off. Thank you guys so much for all your comments in the chat. Shout out to my super chatter, Silly Goose, Lola Lou. Thank you so much. Shout out to my mods. Thank you. I hope Jax is so jealous. It's eating him up inside. I need to go put some more eye drops in, wipe off my mascara, and hopefully watch the Minnesota Timberwolves win. Otherwise, we're out. Okay? So go Minnesota Timberwolves. I got to go put my sporty spice on, but I'll be back possibly, depending on how I'm feeling, later tonight for we got an update on the Karen Reed testimony today, but maybe tomorrow. But for sure, I'll be back tomorrow. You guys, thanks again. Don't forget to comment on my last video. Comment on this video too. I guess you can comment on this video if you want me to roast and recap Sheena's book coming out. And then we'll do a little book club roasting and recapping if I get enough comments. And smash that like. Let's see if we can hit 600 likes. You guys are amazing, beautiful pumpkin spice babies. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And always remember to enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.